Now we're live.
Oh, we are live. That's what the sound means. That's what the little beep means. Okay, guys, welcome to Wargaming After Dark, and it's the show that, well, isn't really a show, I guess. But today I got a very special guest. This is Lee, and I'm probably gonna murder because I never say this right. It's the Bleeped Up podcast, or we call it Bleeped Up Productions, correct?
Yes, correct.
And if you don't know who he is, he does. It's kind of an interesting mix. There's your channel has, I think, one of the most interesting ways of doing battle reports. You also cover FIFA, so you do a little mix of wargaming, video gaming, and you're starting to spill into like board games, from what I hear, and also painting tutorials. Is that correct?
Yeah, my channel's kind of exploding all over the place. It's yeah, I think YouTube for me is you've got to do what you're passionate about, and I have a ton of different passions, and yeah, my content really shows the diversity and the passions that I love.
Awesome. So, all right. But for me, what really caught my attention about your channel was I think you've picked one of the hardest formats to do battle reports. And I've seen all, I'm kind of a battle report junkie, and I've seen, the turn summaries, the slideshow vacation style, and I really appreciate the kind of effort that you put into your battle reports, and I just don't think it's talked about enough on YouTube. So I'm glad that you can spend some time with me today and kind of give us the ins and outs. So I'd like to start it off by, yeah, how did you get into doing battle reports?
Okay, now this is a really fun and hilarious story. So, the year actually, it was whenever my YouTube channel started, due to the fact that I was playing football, or soccer as you guys like to call it over there, and I literally broke my ankle 90 degrees the wrong way. So I literally was out for, well, the doctors told me I was going to be out for a year and 9 months, but because I believe in God, so I'm a Christian. God kind of turned that whole year and 9 months into 6 months, going through 3 months of recovery and 3 months of physiotherapy. So it was an unbelievable turnaround. And during that 6 months, my friend Rich, who you've probably seen on my channel, said, "Hey, I know you liked miniature games, and I've got this really cool game called War Machine, and I know you're not going to do anything for like a while, so why don't you try playing it?" So I was like, okay. And he introduced me to the darkness known as Crix, and I was like, man, these miniatures look awesome, what the heck? And then he started to explain the universe of War Machine and how you have like the undead Crix and the crazy religious nuts of Menoth who want to just burn everything, and then the guys from the north of Kador who pretty much are Russians. And I was just like, man, these guys look so cool, and there were so many different factions. And then he explained hordes, and I was like, oh my gosh, stop this! I want to get into this now.
Right.
And I was looking around for like a faction, like what can I start? And Rich had taken me to a local games club that I've never gone to before, and everyone there was like playing Crix. A few people were playing like Trolls and Circle and Legion and stuff like that, and Minions. And I was just like, man, I don't know who to be. And a lot of the guys were just like, who do you like the most? What the look of more than anything? And I was like, well, I'm not gonna lie, I think just Russia in period is just going to be amazing. And they're like, oh, so you like Kador? And then half of them are like, oh, that's really cool, we don't have a Kador player. And the other half are like, oh, you're going to be another Kador player. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm hit with mixed results at the beginning. And I was like, sure, why not? And I was looking into Kador, and the one person that got me really hooked to Kador was the Butcher. And I just saw this guy with a big ass belly and a huge axe, and I was like, this guy looks like he can cause some trouble. And a lot of the guys were like, yes, he's an absolute beast. And I was like, okay, cool. So I'll buy it. And before even buying the battle box, I ended up buying the butcher. And everyone was like, you haven't even bought the battle box yet. And I was just like, yeah, but this thing, I just want to build around this thing. So then I ended up buying like older models because I wasn't 100% sure that I wanted to fully commit to the hobby. So I bought a few of the old Juggernauts and Destroyers and Sorsha, and then I ended up buying the Winter Guard. And then I got hooked, and I said I wouldn't spend a ton of money. And looking across my room right now and seeing all the models that I've painted and all this other stuff that I've got, I'm just like, wow, this game is simple to play. It's a lot of fun, and back in the day, what I used to play, which will make you laugh, Heretic. I used to play Blood Bowl, and
Oh, yeah.
I used to play. I had a Norse team and everything. I rocked up with Wolverines and Ice Trolls and everything, and I was loving life. I was like, Blood Bowl is my jam because I love American football, and so I was like, I like
Some
this
people
game because
still
it's.
play it, which is
Oh, I play a little bit, but I don't play like all the time now. So I'm really rusty with the rules.
no.
But
I was just saying that you wouldn't know it from YouTube, but the Blood Bowl community is alive and well, and
mm,
you know,
I think a lot
I'm
of
one of those guys that still enjoy Blood Bowl. I try to play it as much as possible. So that's awesome. I've never met anyone who started with Blood Bowl, so that's
yeah.
interesting.
Well, the thing is like I looked at 40K and I looked at Warhammer and I got involved with Dark Eldar back in the day with 40K, and I was like, these guys look awesome. And then I played them and was like, oh, these guys aren't really that great. And then all my other friends were like, well, you've got all this stuff. Why don't you try other stuff out? And so they told me about Necromunda and Mordheim, all the great stuff, that GW don't seem to want to, you know,
Support. Yep.
show anymore. And then
Right.
people were like, well, dude, growing up, I had a Sega Mega Drive, or you guys called it over there a Genesis, and I was a huge ice hockey fan. I still am today, and American football fan. And they were like, "Oh, you would love Blood Bowl," and I was like, "Blood what? This sounds amazing!" And then they showed me the rule book, and I was like, "I'm sold. I want to be. Oh man, I'm sold. I'm done." And then I had a look, and I was like, "Who could I be?" And then again, it seems to be weird. I play Kador. They're from the north, and the Norse are pretty much from the north as well. So I was like, these guys look like Viking badasses. So why not be them? And so I was. But getting back to why I started Battle Reports, I love going on random tangents. But yeah, Blood Bowl's awesome. Um, but I started doing Battle Reports because while I was sitting around contemplating what to do with my life because I just broke my ankle, I was watching a lot of mini Wargaming, Steam Power TV, which is Tim XL, a friend of you and me. And I was like, man, this game looks super easy and simple to play. And then I started playing. I was like, man, I have a media background, so what if I tried doing battle reports? So my first ever battle report I did was, I think, a couple of months before Wargamer Girl, and I was looking at what I wanted to do, and I was like, man, this looks awesome. And then I saw Wargamer Girl stuff, and then I was kind of like, we are very similar, scary similar how we do our battle reports. And then
Mhm.
as I continued on with the battle reports, I realized over the years a few of the channels that I loved and adored were kind of just being a bit sleazy, if you will, with battle reports because they weren't giving it 100% love. Their editing was kind of getting shoddy. This is my personal opinion. And then I realized a lot of them are starting to charge for doing their battle reports now, and I was like, man, this is crazy. Why would people spend money to do battle reports? And then I started to look, right, okay, what do they do in their battle reports which I can do different?
Mhm.
And a lot of the guys on Dice Rage Live have said my battle reports are awesome due to the fact that um, everything to the slightest detail is fun. So you have a bit of personality, you have, decent camera work, you have fun interactive graphics, which you would have if you were like in the War Machine universe, and I just wanted to do something that was going to express like my creativity. So having the metal doors come, having as the battle reports in went on, having the damage boxes pop up to see what you actually did, because obviously if you have no idea what War Machine is and people are like, oh yeah, I did this and cast this spell and did this, people will be like, what's that spell? What's that damage mean? So if you watch my battle reports, you actually see the game being played. So people who want to get into the game are like, oh, cool, so this is what this does and this is what that does. And yeah, I just try to have fun with it. Like the battle
Right,
report.
and that's the thing I wanted to add. It's not. It's similar to Wargamer Girl, but I think the difference being is there is that bit of personality. You do have fun. You inject some humor when it's appropriate, and you kind of go all out. What really got my attention, the first battle report I saw of yours was called Battle of the Bitches 2.
Oh
And it was
yes.
so awesome. And, to the one guy watching right now, I don't know, you're great. I don't know what time it is where you're at, but it's
About 6 in
obviously.
the morning.
I can't see comments. I don't know.
That's
I'm having
okay.
trouble with that. So uh, hopefully I can fix that during this broadcast. And if you have any questions for Lee, go ahead and still post them.
Yeah, because
Um,
I'll answer them as well, so don't worry about that. I'll chime in on this video as well, and shove it on my YouTube page and be like, hey, I did this interview, hit up Heretic and stuff like that. So no worries.
Awesome, awesome. But going back to Battle of the Bitches, what really was like I've never even considered or thought of was you brought in Tin Man, who's not exactly like a neighbor of yours. So it took some work to get Tin Man to explain the feats, right?
Yeah, well, the fun thing about being a part of the Dice Rage Live community, Steve or Tin Man, if you want to call him, he's really key on having channel integration. And as you can see when we have our live shows, if you look back in our catalog, we have a lot of Europeans. We have Neek from Holland, Marth, I want to say from Holland as well, or Germany. He's probably going to write a comment saying that I did it wrong or something. And then you have Tim on blog, obviously in the States, and you have me from England. And he wanted to have some sort of channel integration. And I was like, Steve, you're like one of the main reasons that I got into battle reports. So why not be a part of my battle reports? Because I know he's made the jump to Blip TV, but still uses YouTube for Dice Rage. And I was like, dude, I would love to have some channel integration, like you said, but also to have the guy that got me into wargaming to be a big part of my show and just have fun with it. Because like the first one, yeah, Battle of the Bitches 2, the first one of that was awesome. I loved doing the first one of that. And the second one was a lot of fun because that was like my kickoff of like I want to have more people involved on my channel. So obviously I've had moving forward I've got Steve doing all my feats, and in the comments section if you ever read them, gosh, you've got Neek and Marth, my rules experts I like to call them, because yeah, Bleep Top Productions, we make mistakes so you don't have to, because gosh, whenever we have games we always look back on it on the edit and we're kind of like, oh yeah, we did this wrong. Well, we'll wait how many minutes and how many hours and how many days until someone picks that up. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and yeah, it was really fun with work with Steve on Dice Rage Live, and now on my battle reports. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, so speaking about people that correct you on your rules, I mean, that happens, I think, with all of us. And what I wanted to ask you is, do you find yourself when you film a battle report, are you more concentrated on the technical aspects, getting every shot, getting all the dice rolls correct, and trying to remember what happened? You tend to forget some of the little nuances of the game, and rules will slip by. I mean, is that a valid excuse? It
Excuse,
happens
I
to
like
me.
that.
Like,
No, it's I can say this firsthand. Like I've played War Machine for X amount of years. I should know the rules for certain things, but I just forget. But like as you can see with my work, it's kind of like I want to make sure everything's right. But when you do, I guess we're going to talk about how I do my battle reports, how filming goes and stuff. So I won't ruin
right.
it quite yet. But Yeah, there's certain steps that I like and that I do, which help towards the edit, but also help improve us with rules as well as like making it fun and making sure the angle's right. Because having uptight, like bird's eye views of models and stuff, that's kind of cool if you want to see how you know, they move and how fast they can go and stuff. But if you want to have like some entertainment and to show off the models, I kind of set up shots. You can see when it's my opponent's turn because I have like certain shots, and then you have other opponents' turns. So it's like Rich over time has become a really good cameraman. So I applaud Rich for that. Um, but it's been really good, and like a few people have left comments saying like, "Can you move the camera back a little bit more so we can see what's going on?" And I was like, "Okay, that's cool, but don't you want to have an experience where you get to like see like the figures? Because most of my battle reports are fully painted, and
Yes,
that's like
that is another
you know."
thing that caught my eye. Now, I always like me and my brother, we have that code that we play all the time with painted miniatures. I don't expect that of my opponents, but you've gone a step further and tried to present all your battle reports with all painted models. So is this something that you arrange ahead of time? Like, hey, you call up somebody that you're about to get a game of War Machine with, and say, okay, we're going to film a battle report. So if there's anything that you're planning on using, can you have it painted? I mean, how do you work that out?
Well, I completely agree. Playing it painted or unpainted doesn't matter because it on the in the game War Machine, the card and the model matter. If it isn't painted, that's kind of annoying. If it is painted, fan frickin' tastic. That's awesome. Like I'm really annoyed that I had a subscriber battle report that I was gonna do, and I had all the footage and then it got corrupt. And this kid, I'll call him out now because he's probably going to watch this. So Owen, I apologize. He came all the way from Australia, and he was in the local area, and he hit me up on my YouTube and was like, "I'd love to have a game and be filmed." So Rich and me went down to our local gaming club and was like, "Hey, what up?" And we filmed a game, and he had a few unpainted models, and so did I, and we just had a cracking game. He won the game, which was really fun, but all the footage got lost. But I don't really care if they're painted or not. I just want to make sure that it is. And the next battle report I'm trying to work on, because I want to get a few out before this one is done. But the other one we're working on is kind of like, we haven't even made a name for it yet because it has to have a catchy name, but it is kind of like a wrestling get a match. It's just going to be a Colossal and a Warcaster. So it's kind of like a wrestler and a manager match. And you'd have
Okay.
the Colossal or the guy, because we've kind of mixed it up. We're going to have Rich, hopefully, with his Kraken. We're going to have Mike with his Adjudicator, and Kurt, who most people will know from my channel for showing his ass at Blood and Oil. He's going to bring the Earthbreaker. And how it's going to work, the format, because I've been writing some special rules for it as well. So these rules will be available online as well, so people can try it out. But basically, it's like you have a raised platform where your Warcaster is in the corner, and he's basically got a megaphone. And your Colossal is going to go around and fight other Colossals and stuff, and he's going to cast spells from this raised platform without being in the control area of this Colossal. So he's just using a megaphone. But the fun thing is, when the Colossal dies, the Warcaster comes in. So you could imagine like
Like
going
attack.
all out and then being like, okay, I know I've got to bring in my Warcaster at some point, so I know it has to be pretty badass to you know, take on a Colossal or a
Yeah.
Gargantuan. And a lot of people have really been positive about this. Like I've been telling and walking them through. They're really excited for some of the weapons that I'm making for this game because they bring a unique aspect to stuff. But yeah, it's just a different like format for me, and we're trying to make all those models like painted and looking nice because yeah, the Colossals are phenomenal. And yeah, if you've seen Mike's painting, his Judicator already is looking pretty good. So hopefully mine can do the part and hopefully do better than it did in one of my previous battle reports where it just got completely pwned by lovely witches of cricks. It was unbelievable. But yeah, like painted models or non-painted, I don't mind. But like painted, the better because it looks really nice on the battle report.
Right, right. Um, it definitely does make a difference, and I don't see enough like fully painted. I wish more people would, at least try to strive for that. But backing up for a second, I- your first battle report. I mean, how did that? Did you find it odd to like go to a game store, bring your camera, or and uh, did you run into any challenges? People that are maybe wanting to start doing battle reports. Is there any advice that you could give to them?
Okay, the first one I can tell you off the bat is be patient. Oh my days. Like, I've talked to Tin Man about this a ton when it comes to like software, also with a lot of guys on Dice Rage Live and stuff. My first battle report was filmed with a hilarious camera at my friend Rich's house with hilarious lighting, and I had an idea which was really rough, but I was really eager to throw it out there and just see if people liked it. Now, over the battle reports, you will see the progression of like, oh, I know what he's doing, to where I'm at now, where people have been like, oh, that's pretty cool. I like the like, how can I put it? The direction you're going with these, etc.
Hmm.
And I think, to personally, for me, if you're doing battle reports, that's awesome, but make them interesting. Like for me, I watch a lot of certain people who do battle reports, like I say, War Machine Girl, Codex Dan, Mini Wargaming, Tin Man Excel. All of them have different styles of doing it, and watching battle reports as well is a great way of learning different factions and also learning the game even more, which is really cool. And so, like, some of them are really informative, some of them are just like, I don't know what that does. And like for me, you've got to, like, for me it's kind of like, make it fun, make it educational, and to promote the game at the end of the day.
Right.
Because to be quite frank, there are a few games out there that I would love to play. Like there's a few like floating around in my shall we say, my dojo, if you will, that I would love to do. Like Bushido is one, which is a phenomenal game, and I know the guys who make the game, GCD Games. When I talked to them at SmugCon, which was one of my videos, they were really excited for me to do battle reports because they had seen my battle reports for War Machine, and they would love to me to do Bushido battle reports, and they were going to give me the art, the graphics, and everything for it, and then I can put my unique twist on it. So that's like one thing floating in the pipeline. But I think if you're getting into battle reports, get ready to throw everything to the wind, because you're putting stuff out there on the internet where people mainly just either complain about movies, bitch about life, or watch pornography. That's pretty much what the internet's for. And
Right.
and some people are very brutal, some people are truly honest, but as you watch my battle reports and you see the integration of people that have helped me along the way, and the people that I've been a part of in communities and stuff have really stuck beside me, and making jokes that, oh my gosh, you're learning the rules, you're doing this right, that's fantastic, you know. And honestly, it's risky because it kind of damages you if you're like really sensitive to that, because
Oh,
a lot of
definitely. Yes.
people a lot of people would be like, oh, this sucks, this guy's just ripping off this. Like my personal favorite one was the person someone said that I ripped off Wargamer Girl, which I was kind of really peed off about, because I kind of sent that lovely person a message. I don't mind throwing my name out there. I'm a Brit, so everyone knows we love to argue and get in queues and drink tea and stuff like that. So the guy said I ripped her off, and then I got into a conversation with him just saying why, and then he was like, "Well, you're doing the damage grids, you did this, you did that," and I was like, "Yeah, sure, that's the progression I wanted to go anyway, but." I started doing battle reports way before her, and I pump out more War Machine content than her at the moment.
Yes.
So
And
um, I just wanted to throw that out there, and the guy kind of literally defended her a little bit, but then also realized, yeah, you are pumping out more content about a certain game, but you are doing other things at the same time. And that's like one thing I wanted to like balance with, because I enjoy doing my video games, I enjoy playing war games, I enjoy doing this, and YouTube, if you're going to create a channel, do something you're passionate about. So I'm passionate about War Machine. I'm passionate about video games. I'm passionate about board games. And game night is a fun fun series to do, but it's a pain in the butt to edit. But yeah, just do what you're passionate about, and then just literally, before you set out doing it, have friends that are willing to throw themselves out on the internet and get destroyed or like praised. Rich's ongoing hilarious dice rolls has become a fantastic, um, thing for us here at Bleeped Up Productions. And now we've introduced Mike, and a lot of people have liked Mike's painting and sent me messages saying like, "Oh, we should try these lists out. You should try this out." And it's been a lot of fun. And if you're going to start doing battle reports, I recommend that you have a group of friends with personalities. No offense if that comes off a bit arrogant or whatever that is, but like bring something new to the table, and bring some personality. So like most battle reports I saw at the beginning was, okay, here's the armies, and then we'll come after turn one, and then it would be them talking, and I had no idea what was going on. And then mini wargaming and a few other people have started to evolve into showing turn by turn, and I was like, okay, so what's that? Oh, okay, he's moving, and then they explain stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, so I've got to make sure that I explain what the heck is going on, because if some people have no idea what War Machine is, they're going to be, you know, completely in the know. Like, I've started watching Magic of the Gathering because I used to play Magic a ton, and I started to watch some of the stuff because they're doing a ton of live events recently, and I have no idea what the commentators are saying half the time. Like, they say so much stuff, and then they laugh, and I'm just kind of like, I have no idea what you're saying. I'm trying to watch a game of Magic, and they're talking about cards that I don't know about, but then they're saying loads of other stuff, and I'm just like, if you don't know what they're talking about, you're just going to be like, what? So yeah, have
Yeah, I watch a
fun with it.
lot of Smash Brothers commentary, Melee mostly, and they do have their own catchphrases and
Hmm.
terminology for things. And even as a person who plays, avidly, I'm like, what does that mean? What are
Yeah,
they?
yeah. That's
Um,
exactly it. Have a catchphrase as well, like, and introduce some hilarious stuff to it. So like for us, I always make little jabs at people who wouldn't mind it. Like Marth, I constantly, if you watch a few of the battle reports, I'm like, I think we got this rule wrong. If so, Marth will probably explain it in the comments because he is an absolute. He's a fantastic guy, and yeah, he knows his rules. So it's just like reaching out to the community and just doing stuff like that. So yeah, just have fun with it, and
Also, I think
just do it.
that you mentioned Marth. I'm actually a big fan of his style of battle reports. It his is more of the photograph and voiceover. Um, but I think I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I don't think there's a set style of battle report um, that just covers the game. It's like your personality. So if you're
Mm,
more comfortable, explaining it through pictures, it actually is an entertaining battle report that way. Or
mm,
like when I look at sorry, listen while you play, Cameron and his stuff. He does the thing that you're talking about, the turn summaries, and you're missing most of the battle, but it's so entertaining, him and Chris, that
yeah.
like you don't even care. So that style works for them. And
Mm.
I mean, how do you feel about people finding a style that they're comfortable with?
I think that's great. Like, I think you've used two fantastic examples. For example, like if you haven't seen Mars content, go watch it. It's super awesome. Like, it's so different to what I've. Like I said, I find sometimes watching photos and explanation like boring, but Marth does it in such a comical, cool way that makes
Right.
it entertaining. But also, Marth is such a great competitive player. Like, I've tried to become more competitive, and watching his battle reports and learning tactics from him have been such a blessing, if you will, because he's like, well, if you did this, 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 and this, you probably could have ended up doing that. I'm like, holy cow, I didn't even see that coming. And but like you're saying, listen while you play, even though they don't do it anymore, which is really sad. Those guys, I watch some of their battle reports. I'm like, yeah, they're kind of doing the same thing, which I think is a pet peeve of like explaining, but their personalities sell that show, and it makes it more interactive and hilarious.
Yeah, it
And
definitely is. They
and
uh,
what's
they were the guys that actually got me into War Machine. Really, I started
that's
watching
awesome.
their bat reps before I even knew what the game was. So
Mm, that's awesome. That's exactly it. Like, I think you hit the nail right on the head when you say people have different styles. And I think War Machine can be represented in very different styles. I just pick a very visual and like tutorialistic way, if
I
you
think
will.
yours is the most technically challenging.
Oh, it
Uh,
is. It's joyful to edit.
is it? How long does it from start to finish? Why don't we just go? Yeah, why don't we just segue into like how do you get this done?
Okay, this is when, if you ever think about starting battle reports, becomes really fun because it's more 100% down to your opponent, because you can be free to do a battle report, but the other person might not be. So your whole schedule will evolve around them and like trying to figure out a day when to do it. Now, when you film a battle report, get ready for a hilarious film session, because actually I'll teach you. Okay, cool. So basically, how you would do it is you have to set aside pretty much a whole day to do it, because I think the longest one we ever did was the four-way battle report, which is the most viewed on my channel. And we started playing at 4 in the afternoon. We did not finish until 3 in the morning filming.
Oh my God!
Yeah, but the problem was I wanted to film everything. So there's your first problem. Make sure that your friends can just get a decent-ish shot and then you can edit it later. But the thing is, what you want to do is set time aside to do it. And then when you film it, the best tip I can ever give you is go 3, 2, 1, shoot, and then get your opponent to verbally say what they're doing as they're doing it. So when you come back to the edit, you can play the clip and be like, okay, what is he doing here? And you listen to the audio. So for example, I would be like, okay, I'm going to allocate 3 focus to the behemoth, and Butcher is going to sit on 2. And so when you come back to edit, you will write it down on a piece of paper so you script it at the same time. And so you'd be like, okay, cool. So the butcher did this, this, and this, and then you'd film it. So you constantly keep explaining it. So it's been quite interesting now working with, Steve doing the feats and stuff. Because then I would be like, okay, and then I pop my feet. So we'll let Steve explain it. So on the edit, when I come to it, it goes like, and then you'll pop your feet. Okay, cool. Now I'll bring up the slide with Steve. And so it's kind of like you're fitting pieces of a jigsaw puzzle together, which is fantastic because that is really easy. Now the complicated part with mine is as soon as I could release them just as like mini Wargaming or any other people do, just with the battle report itself with a voiceover, which works really well. But what I want to do is add that kind of cool steampunk, atmospheric border with loads of graphics and stuff to make it feel like you're in the Iron Kingdoms. So that is always fun. So you've edited it, that's cool. I use Final Cut Pro to actually edit my stuff. So I'm used to like long render times, because when you edit, trust me guys, rendering is not your friend. I remember the first battle report I did, I had everything set up and I was like, cool, how long is it going to take to render? And it took like 2 hours to render all the normal footage. Then when you put the extra graphics on and all the other stuff that I added originally, the file was so big that I had to do it for such a long time. It literally, I waited a day for rendering on my first battle report. And I was like, holy crikey, what have I got myself into? And then as soon as it came out and with all the graphics and stuff, I was like, this is perfect. So then I was like, cool, so I have to make sure that I know the essential edit will be this long, and then the extra bits will be this long, and then the extra other bits will be this long. And then also make sure that you go back and watch your stuff, because some stuff that I've watched, people have left stuff in by accident, or there's like a graphic glitch or whatever you want to do, and make sure that it's nice and polished and clean, because even though you would have seen it like 200 times and you think you haven't made a mistake, trust me, I've gone back and I've realized, oh wow, I didn't put anything in there when I should have. Whoops.
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
Also, we have Canvas here.
Okay.
Quick comment. I really enjoy bleeped up some videos, but also lately I've been watching a shitload of bat rips by a crew called Advanced Maneuvers.
Mm.
They tape and speed it up and commentate over the tape. What's interesting about Advanced Maneuvers, I don't know if you've taken a look at their stuff, is they do a dual narration. It's something I've always wanted to do, but it's very tough. I wonder how they must dedicate an entire day to filming like you do,
Mm-hmm.
and then sit down and narrate it over it together. Have you
Mm.
ever thought of doing anything like that?
Well, a few of us on the channel are going to ETC, which is the European Championships here in England. So
Okay.
a few of us are throwing around like lists, and we want to get some practice games in. So we were debating whether to just film it to see how our lists work, and then maybe release them out. But while I'm at ETC, I might just film games anyway and release them out in that kind of format. Because have you seen my Star Wars stuff? We do have that kind of let's play, banter battle report where you actually see the game as it's played, but also you have that live action element, which that is an absolute lovely joy to edit as well. But yeah,
Right.
I love advanced maneuvers stuff because how they shoot it and how they edit with their personality as well is fantastic. And they're seeing different armies play for me is awesome because in our local meta here in good old England, in the area I live, it's kind of only a few players play for certain factions. Man, I'm getting tongue-tied. But seeing other factions and how they play is a true. It helps me out a ton. So it's like whenever I play against Legion, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. But then I would watch a couple of battle reports before I know I'm playing Legion players, and I'll be like, okay, so this thing does this thing does that. So then when I go to a tournament or I'm playing someone, I'll be like, okay, I know what he does. He's not nice. He's not nice, but pretty much the whole of Legion isn't nice anyway because they're just really, really good. So yeah, I love advanced maneuvers. Those guys have commented on a few of my videos, and yeah, I appreciate what they give me in feedback and comments, and yeah, I love watching their stuff as well.
Cool. So I did not know that you, going back to your process, so you actually script what you're going to say.
Yeah, the best thing for me, because I come from a media background anyway, making movies and stuff like that. The best thing to do sometimes is to script stuff. Like I know Mini Wargaming, when you watch that stuff, some of their clips they play, they keep on talking about certain stuff and stuff like that. So they kind of just remember what they do and just speak it out, which I think is great for them. That's really good. But for me, it's like how I do my battle reports and stuff like that. I just want to make sure it comes out clean and fun and simple for people who love War Machine, but who are curious to get into the game. Because obviously, with my style, it's kind of you see what's going on, you do this, you do that, but it's really just to get yeah, kind of get newbies into the game, and that's what I'm kind of done with my channel as well with Kador Tactics, which I have got stuff wrong on there as well. Thank you, Marth, for helping me out. Um, but yeah, I'm just to promote the game in itself is just awesome, and having that opportunity going to SmogCon and doing videos and just like that, just to help out, such an easy, fun game, because if you ever play 40k, you have like 80 miniatures to move at a time. In this game, you can have 8 miniatures and still have as much fun, and the rules are way more flushed out instead of, wow, this is a big punch at GW, instead of saying, oh, let's just roll the dice, 3, 4, 5, it works, stuff like that, and the rules are very
That's okay.
simple.
On my channel, I don't have a GW friendly channel. I think everyone knows. I've actually called it one of the worst entry level games, out there. The gateway drug, they call it. This is what you have to go through. And it's nice to meet someone like you that never went through the horrors of buying, $800 worth of
Well, I can tell you
miniature.
now, I'm looking at my things now, and I have a Tomb King army over there, and also a Lizard King army, because I wanted to get into fantasy, because I used to play a little bit, but not a ton, and like the new edition came out, I was like, okay, these guys can't be broken, these guys have got to be good, and they're still pretty rubbish. So I'm just like, okay, never mind then. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, sorry.
No, that's
It's
fine.
But the worst thing is, I remembered when this is how crazy it is. I remember when a box unit of 20 men was about 10, 15 pounds. Now I look at it, that's British, by the way, and then now
Right.
I go into the shop and it's like 20 quid. I'm like, what the heck? And I see the prices for some of the models. Like my friend was like, oh yeah, they're releasing some Hobbit stuff, and I was like, oh, they're doing that Lord of the Rings stuff still. He's like, yeah, 3 of the models are like 30 pounds for 3. I was like, wow, you can buy like a second-hand army off eBay for War Machine for that much. That's
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
I don't
Because
know.
that's where we get a lot of our stuff from as well, unfortunately. Rich
I
and
think
me
it's like the
scowl
the
eBay.
GW, the GW community. I think they're allergic to money. I think it harms them to have money, you know.
Mm,
Because yeah, the Centurions. Have you seen those guys? It's like three
yes.
models
Yep.
for
They're
like
amazing in the game, from what I've been told. They're pretty much like Space Marines on steroids, and they do look not that nice as
no,
well.
no. They do look like one of my friends has Tonka toys. You have
Exactly.
these nails
Oh,
on
exactly.
from 28 mil to I don't know what. Like I'll walk by a GW table and it's like they're playing with giant. It's like all colossal size now. It's really strange.
Well, I think that's why I think skirmish games like War Machine and a few others are doing so well, and that's why so many Kickstarter projects are doing so fantastic as well, is because when you look at a game, the first thing a person will look at is how will it play and how badass does it look. Like,
Right.
for example, a game I've looked at and a few of my games have looked, a few of my friends have looked at as well. There's two, I will say, is a um, Drop Zone Commander and also another game which, what is it? Wild West Exodus. Now the problem is with both these games, all of us love them to death. I've had a few games of Drop Zone Commander. I've never had so much fun blowing up other ships and buildings and stuff, and it's just a different portion to, War Machine where you have infantry fighting. This is like way bigger where you have tanks and everything. So the scale is way bigger. It gives you that kind of real war epic
Right.
feel. And
Without
then
that GW price tag. You know you.
yeah, yeah.
That,
Now that's what I'm going to get onto eventually.
okay.
But Exodus as well. Those models look amazing, and the game, from what I've been told, is fantastic, and it looks a lot of fun. But then it comes down to price. Now, obviously, Drop Zone Commander, what you're going to pay for is you're going to pay a lot, but what you get in return is you pay that much, you've got a whole army. You don't need to buy anything else. With War Machine, you can buy the battle box set and just have that. You don't need to buy anything else. With Wildest Exodus, you pay X amount to get this. You don't need to buy anything else. With GW, unfortunately, you can buy, a 50, 60 quid box set with 2 units and a commander, and you need to buy more.
Oh,
You need to get this, this, and this, and it doesn't supply you, I think, with enough people and nice-looking models to keep you hooked. Like all the good-looking models, unfortunately for GW, they don't include in their starter boxes, and their prices are pretty crazy. And then you look at all these Kickstarter programs, and you have, War Machine and loads of other things where their models look unbelievable, and they're so cheap compared to GW. And loads of other companies are going, why don't we make some really awesome models, charge the consumer, a little, and then, they'll probably sell like hotcakes. Like, for example, the Colossuses for War Machine, sure, they're expensive, but holy cow, they look amazing. Like,
yes, they do.
as soon as I saw the Conquest, I was like, I need to own one, and I was the first guy in my meta to buy one. And then you see the other ones where you're kind of like, I'm not so sold on it. I'm not that great. Rich, I'm pointing at you because you did not want to buy the Kraken, and now all of a sudden you have one because everyone else has a Colossal, mate. I'm just saying. But some people like preferences of looking like models. Like for me, I'm sitting down here at like 6:30 in the morning. I'm looking at my painting table right now, and I have my Kayazi Assassins to paint. These guys are awesome in the game, but they're horrible looking models. The
Yeah,
underbox is
I
the
actually
only
have
nicest thing.
I have a full unit of those,
Yeah,
and
me too. I
I
realize.
can't bring myself to paint those.
No, they just look disgusting. The models aren't that nice, but in the game they're beautiful. Like that's why I gave Neek, who probably will watch this as well. You guys will know him as Sputnik. He has such he just kills it when it comes to painting and converting. So I gave him my Nis, and I told him, I've seen your circle when you've turned them into like samurais and stuff like that. Can you please do that to my Nis? When you guys eventually see my Nis on my channel, I think Neek might get a ton of people asking for him to convert a ton of stuff. He's gave them all rice hats. He's made them with scarves covering their faces, but like
Yeah, he posted a
blowing in the wind.
blog today. I think he like updated it,
Yeah,
and he had that circle. What's it called?
Celestial Fulcrum. Yeah.
Yes, and that work he did on that was amazing.
Oh gosh, guys. Yeah. leave a link if you can, Heretic, or I'll leave a link in this description as well. Guys, Neek goes under the radar, kind of like me, I think, as well. He just is unbelievable. Like he just goes, oh, I'm gonna try something different, and then he comes back and shows me something. And he goes like, what do you think of this? And I'm just like, Neek, you are scary. You should just throw your stuff out there and get people,
Go on,
people.
job. Drop
Yeah,
it.
like people pay other people to do this, and sometimes they're not that happy with it. Because he has that great communication, and he's that eye to detail. I think he would make a ton. Like seriously, if you see his Celestial Fulcrum, I guarantee you a ton of Circle players will be like, maybe I should go the way of Asian Japanese themed Circle. Because what he did with the shifting stones, making those into like little sensei house things. He made that out of 36 little like cardboard pieces, like well polycard or whatever you want to call it. And he was like, yeah, they were a pain in the ass, but look how awesome they look. And with a cracking paint job, gosh, they're just oh man, I can't brown nose the guy anymore. You know,
No, no, no.
he's
I,
awesome.
I, I've subscribed to him, and I hope he does some more videos because I know he's kind of slowed down. We
Mm,
had another Canvas comment. Same thing with Dystopian Wars, when he's talking about scale. And Firestorm Armada, you can have one large, not huge outlay, and you have nearly everything you need. That's
yeah.
true. I do have a Prussian force for Dystopian Wars, and you really with the starter box, it is a lot. It is probably one of the best values you can get.
Is Dystopian Wars the steampunk like the ones with the airships and the tanks,
Oh yeah,
like the boats and stuff? Those look awesome. That game looks amazing.
it is, and they have a ton of factions now, and they have what they call I forgot what they're called, but they're like sub factions that you can add onto your factions, and it's a huge model line now, and it's just the most. I'm not a fan of the AutoCAD stuff. I like the hand sculpt, kind
Mm,
of look, but with Spartan Games, I mean their stuff's amazing. It's one of the best, CAD. I don't know what we'd call it, CAD-driven sculpts.
yeah.
I don't know what's the word for that.
Not
But
100% sure. But I can agree. I've seen some of those things. I'm like, I know a few of my friends play that game, and I'm like, this is the one thing I think whenever you come to creating battle reports is if you love a game and you haven't seen enough content out there, throw something out there and see what people think.
yep,
Because yeah, gosh, that game looks so much fun, and I've seen my friends say I've never had so much fun losing a game of this, because you can roll up and be like, man, I have everything in my favor, and that's what I think with all dice games is like, oh man, this thing is going to destroy this thing, and then a dice roll goes wrong, and you're kind of like, right, throwing my fists on the table, a bit of dice rage. I've had enough. I don't want to play this game anymore. But that's what makes this game so playable. You can have a solo where you're just like, oh, he's not going to hit. Oh, he's hit. And oh my gosh, why have I rolled 3 sixes against your armor? That is phenomenal. I'm sorry, mate. I can't help but gloat right now.
yeah.
It's
My
that's what it feels good like.
my blood trackers are known. One girl will always get with the weapon mastery. The 666 roll.
Oh my gosh. I
And
love I love that when you roll that and you have Epic Sorcerer's Feat where anything exceeding the armor is doubled. I have wrecked Jax in one hit and been like, oh, why have I given this person all this focus? Why? What a waste. But that's the best thing I think as well about War Machine is like I think sometimes you're overcautious. So like for me, like I've done this multiple times with the butcher, and I'm just like I've got a boost to hit, and he's like, well, you need a 4, and I'm like, how many times I've rolled a 2, a 3? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I'm gonna boost. I'm gonna trust my gut, and everyone's like, that's stupid. But how many times when I've listened to them and then I've rolled and I've gone, ah, double 1. Oh, okay, he's dead. Done. There we go. See, just because I listen to you guys, you know. But that's what I think makes you want to come back and play the game more as well. Is like, if only, if only, if only scenarios. If only I did this, if only I did that, and you're kind of like, I'll make sure I do that different this time. It's just awesome. I love it.
I love capturing that moment on camera as a guy who also does battle reports. That Snake Eyes moment when you all you need was a three. You know,
Yeah.
I
Well, that's the
love
one
getting
thing I
the
wanted to
reaction.
say as well, though. Heretic, I realized I subscribed to you way, like a couple of years ago due to the fact of your Blood Report battle reports, because I was like, man, I miss this game, because no one in my area except Rich and me play, and we only
And
have a
no one on
few
YouTube
factions.
does Blood Bowl. It's like it's impossible to find any content. You
I
know?
know. I was debating whether to do just throw one out there and see what the response would be, but then how could I do it different to my other content? Do I just do it as a let's play and just keep it rolling, or do I do it like cinematic sports and have some hilarious sport commentary over the top or something like
Ah,
that?
I used
It,
to do. I used to have a fake Blood Bowl show where I had my little miniature and I photoshopped a ESPN desk around him, and
nice.
he would talk about the games as if they were real. No one understood that, but I was like, this is the funniest thing to me. So I just like, fuck it,
Yeah,
roll with it,
if
do it.
you enjoy doing it and other people don't get it, so a few people might not get it. A few people probably love it. It's like with my FIFA content, which is quite comical because it's like everyone on YouTube does FIFA commentaries and stuff like this, and I'm just like, cool, whatever. I'm just going to do my own thing. And recently, I've been doing my own team, my home team, Coventry, because yeah, I've been playing it offline and loads of stuff, and I got them to the Premier League, and a lot of people I've seen have just taken other teams with a ton of money and been like, yeah, I'm just going to buy this player and make him really awesome. And you watch a ton of content, and you're like, I guess he's going to buy this player, and then in the next episode he goes like, oh, and I bought that player, and I'm just like, huh, predictable. But with mine, I just had a bit of flair. Like I made it one episode where I literally looked like I was interviewed by Sky Sports, which is one of the big um, sports people here, like ESPN, but only in England. And a few people were like, how the heck did you do that? And then I just forwarded the guy who made the vector kind of stencil and then just upgraded it in Photoshop. But it's just do whatever you want, man. Like it's just a lot of fun at the end of the day. And man, I would love for you to continue doing your Blood Bowl stuff. And like if you could organize a league and just have matches and then you integrated that personality like you have, just like with interviews after, is like, so what did you think of the game? Like
Oh yeah,
what
no, I
what
used
could you
to I
change?
used to go on. I used to have the star players. They would come in and guest commentate, and talk about their past, achievements, and it's only
That's
for
it,
me
man.
and my brother.
So that's all good. That's always fun.
Yeah,
It's like yeah, most of the time when you do other content like that and stuff, it's always down onto other people, like organizing, making sure that they're free and they're able to put their lovely mugs out on the YouTube because
right.
some people are like, oh, I'd love to be a part of your video, but please don't film me. Okay, I'll just film either your hands or your crotch by accident. That's perfectly
Right.
fine. So many times I've been like, man, how many videos could I edit where just like crotch shot videos just for giggles, just to have like a hilarious thing, just like a
You can do
counter
a
in the
whole
corner.
montage of that.
That'd be really fun to do, actually. That'd be really fun. How many crotches do you think were in my total battle report? Maybe for my
No,
2,000 subscriber battle video, I could ask them how many do you think there was in this montage that I did, and then have a prize. Maybe I don't know. That'd be pretty funny, actually. That's getting off topic. Go on. Anyway,
no, I kind of like the off topic. So
it's always good.
yeah. So what? Anything? You'd mentioned your big. What are we calling this? The WWF style
Yeah. Now this is
um,
where it gets interesting
battle
because
report?
I wanna do it, but I don't want to rip anything off. Like I've got a style that I want to do. I've got a few people who would love to do like the voiceovers for it, but they're going to be leaving soon. So I've kind of been nicely coaching Kirk, Mike, and Rich to paint their models a bit quicker, so we can get it done. Because I would love to have these people who know what I do, not 100% sure why I do it, but they're like, yeah, I'd love to be in one of your videos. Why? And they're just like, oh, just be for the hoot of it. And yeah, it's just really fun how like something you're passionate about that people don't understand all of a sudden want to love to be a part of it. Like my game night episodes where I just sit down and play a board game but make it a bit quirky and a little bit fun. So many people have seen like the family business one, which hasn't got a ton of hits, which I was kind of confused by. That one took forever to edit, but loads of my friends who play board games with me are kind of like, if we play any other game and you edit it like that, please let me be a part of it. you know. And we were throwing around the idea of playing Settlers of Catan, and a few of us dressing up as like was it like wood choppers or like what they called, like redneck shirt, beards, axes, and stuff.
Oh, lumberjacks.
Yeah, like a lumberjack. Someone dress up as a miner. Someone dress up as a shepherd because you'd have sheep and stuff like that.
Right. Sheep for wood.
And just you know, and someone actually as a sheep was one of them as well. Someone wanted to dress up as a sheep. That was pretty funny. But then another one we wanted to do was King of Tokyo, which we've thrown around a bit because that game's a lot of fun. Someone actually wanted to dress up as an ape and just make a ton of ape noises when we interviewed him, and then ask him what were you trying to say, and then just have it come up in subtitles and stuff like that would be really fun. And just having a lot, like, you know, just let your imagination go wild. But the fun thing when you come down to it all is like, can I do it? Because you can have a lot of people who are like, oh man, I want to do this, 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 and this, and then you sit back and you're like, man, that would be amazing. How can we do that? And then you start processing it, and they're like, okay, maybe that's a bit too advanced for us.
Right.
So how can we do that on a budget and make it look good?
Yeah. Okay.
And then you research it and stuff, and then yeah, you can do it. It's amazing. The internet is amazing to do stuff. So many tutorials out there. It's phenomenal.
So what's your software of choice? Speaking of,
I'm a bit of an annoyance because I know a lot of people use iMovie and stuff like that, and fair play to them. I use iMovie sometimes to speed up the editing process on some things, but I use like After Effects, which is quite expensive, Final Cut, which is quite expensive, and the best piece of software ever in the world, GarageBand. Oh my gosh, this thing is amazing. Like, people just laugh at it because it's just rubbish. If you get an awesome microphone, like you do your research, you get an awesome microphone and you just record, and then you send it to iTunes and you play back and you hear how great the quality is, you're just kind of like, cool, I'm just knocking out some amazing commentary over the top of my whatever videos I do because this microphone is making me sound awesome, and the software that I got free just enhances it even more. You know, it's just, yeah. So GarageBand, Final Cut Pro, After Effects, Photoshop, obviously, but you don't need to get like a really up-to-date one. You can get a couple of old like versions of these and they still work, which is fantastic. But obviously with, you know, everything progressing and getting more digital and stuff like that, it's kind of, you know, you stay with the modern trends. You don't have to get the first thing that comes out, but maybe wait down the line for a couple more to come out, then probably just buy the last year's one or 2 years ago, because then it will go off the market. You'll realize how fun Photoshop actually is. It's very basic, and then people are like, oh yeah, but on the new one you can do this by clicking a button, and you're kind of like, so what you're saying is you can do it like 10 minutes quicker than what I can do at the moment. They're like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, I'm fine with that. You know, I don't really care. You know, $800 or however much it is, I'm not exactly that fussed about it. But cameras is also interesting. Like, you can do whatever you want with when it comes to cameras. I've recently purchased a new camera because obviously with all my battle reports, because I was working with Youth with a Mission, I had the great privilege of working in their media department, so I had editing software to me as much as I do now, and also having a film camera. Canons are amazing. If you're going to go full ball into like any kind of content, whether it be miniatures or filming anything, Canons are the way forward. I do agree, but I've currently got a Panasonic DMC G3 which shoots phenomenal, and that's what I shot Paint It Red in, and I think the footage turned out great. The lighting was hilarious to begin with, but then I figured it out, and yeah, it's just finding your preference. And the best thing to do, obviously, when you're researching into this, is ask people who do stuff all the time, like, oh, what do you think about this? Sometimes they will not get back to you, so that's always useful. And then sometimes it's just you have to browse the internet and have a look. And I'm blessed to have enough friends who are in the media business and know what they're doing. So I'm just like, hey man, I've got this and this. Can you if I have a budget of X amount of money, what can I get for this? And then they're just like, okay, so what do you want more? And they would sit down with me and talk stuff through, like, okay, so you do commentary, you need to have a badass mic, you need to make sure you get a really decent one. If you're going to be filming, you need to have above par camera. That's cool. And obviously you've got your editing equipment. That's great. You've got that sorted and stuff. And just, yeah, I've been really blessed, really. I've been really blessed to have people to help me in these areas. And sometimes, like, I think with me, what I've realized is building a community of like true fans is always good. Like, I have a ton of subscribers on my channel, which is fantastic, and there's a few individuals on there that are subscribed to me that I've got to know a bit more due to the fact that they've asked questions. I ask everyone to like throw a comment down, and people sometimes don't do it. And I've realized on other channels they always ask for comments and then they read them, and then they say on the next video, well, I enjoyed this person's comment and this, and they actually read them, and some people don't. And I kind of started to go back into my old videos and realize, who wrote comments? And let's see if they're still subscribed to me, or even if they're still watching my content, to have that interaction. Because then obviously if you build your fan base with, true interaction, that's always great, because then okay, I might have 1 million subscribers, but like 3 keep coming back. That's fantastic, because I've built like an internet relationship with them because they enjoy what I do and they ask me questions and I'm not afraid to answer like what they do.
Yeah, I when I first started this, I didn't know what I was doing, so I would just throw content out there and just let people discuss. And then it was only until later I realized that just by answering a comment, it shows that you want to share the experience. You're part of the community, and I really didn't understand that until late in the game. So.
I think that's what a lot of people have done, and I think that's why they thrived as well in their success. I think as well is having that integration of keeping up to date with what other channels are doing, but also like having that personalized touch with keeping in touch with people who subscribe to them. So that's why I think Paint It Red is a perfect opportunity for me to literally ask people, hey, I'm doing a video where I want to answer your questions. Do not be offended if your questions don't get asked, but all the questions would be asked if it gets popular. But yeah, just ask me anything. Ask my preferences to stuff, so I can have that that channel integration with getting to know my community. And a few people have done it. I know Marth and Neek always do it because those guys are my boys. But yeah, Advanced Maneuvers did it on their first episode, which I was really cool to see because I watched their battle reports, and it was awesome when I saw those guys and a few guys that you've watched like a few of their episodes, and then they're like, oh yeah, I want to subscribe to you, and they ask you questions. You're kind of like, cool, that's really awesome. I'm so glad those guys like me, or like they take time out of their schedule to watch my video, which I seem to say on all my videos almost, but it's true. When you've been like with War Machine battle reports, some of them are over in 10 minutes because the player is amazing, or they could be like 30, 40 minutes,
Right.
And then having that little thing at the end is like, thank you for watching my battle report. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. So you're personalizing it, and you're also having that, you're truly thankful, which I am, which, sometimes people say, oh yeah, I really want your support. That's awesome. Some people just say it because they just want to boost their numbers. But then some people, like me, I'm generally saying thank you for watching it because I put a bloody lot of effort editing it. I would like to thank you for watching it, because a lot of people think some people on YouTube are very, how could I say, shallow, and they're just kind of like, yeah, you guys are awesome, you guys are great, you, and then they just kind of like, when you read their comments and they're not like, they might have read it but they don't have that integration of answering them, you're kind of like, really, are you grateful, But that's just me. That's my personal opinion. I'm not saying everyone does it, so that's just me saying that. But
no,
it's awesome.
I agree. I think there is, as Cameron would always put it, there's a lot of cancer.
Oh, Cameron.
I've been trying to get him on this.
Man, I would love, like, ever since when they said they were stopping doing their battle reports, I was so upset. Like all of us on Dice Rage Live, we have him on now and then, but we're all like, man, Cameron, if your situation ever sorts itself out, come back, man. We love your battle reports. They're hilarious. They're so good.
Yeah.
Oh
I,
man,
I actually have a battle coming up with Cameron
nice.
on Monday because it's a holiday here in the States.
Ah,
And so
okay.
I took the day off, and so I kind of want to do like a tribute
I
to,
think you should.
to the listen while you play style of battle.
Oh,
You
that'd be so good. That'd be so much fun,
know, I
dude. You
gotta
should
find some
so do it.
dubstep. I gotta know my internet memes. It's kind of nerve wracking, you
I
know.
don't know. I think Cameron would appreciate it. I think Cameron would appreciate if you were just like, hey, I want to film this, but in your style. Let's do it, like a blast from the past. I bet
Yeah.
he'll be down for it. I bet you he's chomping at the bit to do something like that.
Oh,
But
actually,
obviously, with his situation,
my
he's just kind of
first War Machine bat rep I did. The first thing we wanted to do was we did a Cameron, or our best to do a Cameron style battle report, but we didn't know any of the rules. We literally just like painted up some War Machine stuff and just started making it up as we went along. And then we started reading the rule book and then accidentally started playing War Machine. That's kind of how it happened for me.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. No, but that's it. You've got to start from somewhere. And looking back at my first ever battle report and now looking to where I'm at now, I can see the progression and I just look back and I'm just like, man, that's hilarious. I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I did that. But that's my jumping on point. You'll always remember your first video, whether you do any kind of battle report, video content or whatever, you'll always remember your first ever video. And you'll be like, huh, I can't believe that I actually did that, or I actually said that. That's hilarious.
No,
And then you look,
I
it's
really
great.
think it's like capturing. We're chronicling our fun time, our hobby. You
Yeah,
know, that's what pisses me off so much about the people that try to cash in and
mm.
have different intentions.
Well, that's the thing. Like I was talking, I don't mind saying this because I can say this. I was actually looking into starting a Patreon account because a lot of people have said that, man, I pay for battle reports and yours is free and way better. And I'm kind of like, oh, thank you. And then I looked into like what people pay for, and then I listen and I watched some of the stuff, and I'm just like, man, they're just doing the same stuff. They're just making it exclusive to people that pay. So I was talking to the guys, and I'm debating whether to do it or not. But like, for me, I was like, how can I do this without coming off like a jerk? And then people, like Steve told me I should try doing a tips jar, like have it so Patreon does it like you can pay X amount of money a month or per video. And I was like, cool. If people truly want me to do War Machine, which I know a lot of my subscribers do, what if I said if they wanted to give back to me a little bit of money, like a month, like $1 a month, and I just continue pumping out the content? That would be great. But then I was like, well, that means it comes off that I'm just asking for money. And
Yeah,
then they would just,
this is a big topic with me. I was actually going to do a separate video on this,
hmm,
um, but we might as well hash it out now.
let's hash it out. Let's get the gloves on. Let's do this.
Ooh, wow, this is a tough one because the current trend, how I see it, is it's it's almost alarming about the amount of people that want us to pay for their hobby. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
And speaking, there's one guy that's saying, well, if you want me to continue doing, videos for you, you have to pay. And it really got under my skin, man. Like, it really
Wow.
fucking pissed me off, you know?
Yeah, that's
Like,
what like Steve and people said. Like you can try and come off like that, but you lose a lot of subscribers. And so
yes.
like that's crazy. I didn't know that. Yeah, it can get under your skin. So that's why I was like, for me, I'm like, how can I come across without being a jerk? So the thing is with me, because Neek is my first one. Neek and me go way back, and Neek is actually one of the only guys at the moment who's supporting me because I haven't made the video yet. And Neek was like, well, dude, you deserve it. You put out so much content
Right.
frequently, you deserve it. And I was
Right.
like, cool, but then how can I market it this without saying, I'm just going to pay? So, like, I'm making it optional for people. I'm still going to be
Right.
bringing out badass content. If you want to be a part of, like, what I do and helping upkeep, you know, because like I told you guys earlier, the software isn't cheap. And Neek is seen some of the stuff I do because we met at SmugCon, and he was like, dude, that equipment has got to be expensive. I was like, yeah, I've put a lot into this, and yes, I'm 100% down for it. And he was like, dude, you should somehow make like a tips jar and do something about it. And for me, it's like, it's optional. Like, that's the one thing I'm making on the video. It's optional. You don't have to do it. I'm still
Right.
making badass content. If you want to be a part of this, you will be a part of this for X amount. That's great. Like, if I get like 10 people giving me $1 a month, wow, I'm $10 in my pocket. That's quality, and I can put that back into the production of my stuff, and I can involve those people somehow. Like, I'm already using Steve, I'm already using Neek and Marth, which is a bit of a spoiler because they're going to actually appear on my next Kador Tactics video. Um, I can use the subscribers who want to be a part of my, production company to do live Google Hangouts, even be a part of my videos, have battle reports, or do whatever, just so I can be like, cool, you give me X amount of money a month. That's awesome. Let's have a battle report, and let me throw out like your YouTube channel. Let me throw out like a big shout out without coming across like I'm going to stop doing everything until I get paid, which I do this for love. I literally love the hobby and
Yeah.
stuff. But
Right.
if I can make a few bucks on the side, that's fantastic. And
It is kind of, yeah.
that's
I
great.
see what you're saying. You do have to be
Very
very,
careful.
yes, because I mean there are people out there. I don't want to mention by name, but
I think we all know who though. There's
yeah,
there's two
that,
there's two that come to my head right off the bat. There's two for me.
okay.
But it's like, for me, you have to tread carefully because, like you say, people will be like, "Oh, I don't want to pay for this. It's YouTube. I'm not enjoying this." That's why I'm making it optional. It's a
Right.
tip jar for people to literally, just throw me a buck like a month. Like, that'll be awesome, and then I can just
It's
pump
kind
it
of
right
like
back into
what
the
you're saying.
production.
It's like a donate button on a website.
It is like a donate website, and the best thing about it is, sure, I might get a few bucks a month, but guess what? You're still going to be getting all my awesome content for free.
Right.
Period. And I think that's one thing that I hated when people were saying, you got to be really careful, dude, because some people have started charging for their better content. And I was like, well, what if I just kept doing the same content for free, but had the option of them tipping me? And Steve was like, I'd do it. And Neek's already done it. And Marth is considering doing it. And like, I was just like, man, this is really risky. But what have I got to lose except some people going, oh, you're asking for money? Oh, how dare you? And I'm just like, no, if you watch the video, I'm just asking you as an option. I'm still really happy that you watch my videos. I'm not asking for money. I'm just saying think about it. I'm not saying I'm going to stop doing all my content because, I want to make money. It's not that. It's helping me continue doing what I do. And unfortunately for sometimes I love doing this for the hobby, which is great. And people complain that I concentrate on more videos than others, and I'm like, yeah, that's great, but wait until you start editing battle reports and other stuff like that. You'll understand how much time goes into it, and that's what I've said on all my battle reports at the beginning. Is like, I'm sorry it's taken so long, but remember, guys, when what you wait for is perfection, and sometimes, yeah, I get the rules wrong, but you get a final product which is phenomenal, and I think, not to boost my own ego here, which is pretty freaking awesome. Just saying.
Yes. No, they are. They are awesome battle reports. I'm not gonna lie. I am
Are you
not.
playing like Bejeweled or something in the background?
No, it's my work email. It's connected to my
Ah.
phone. And
They're still trying to get hold of you while it's like, I'm done, okay? Come on, serious.
no, at my job, you're never quite ever done.
Ah, that's sad.
Yeah, that was one of the challenges. Was we were supposed to have you on last week,
Yes,
but
yes.
then they pulled the oh, we need you to work the entire weekend.
That's brutal. That's absolutely brutal.
That's not bad. I do enjoy my job though, so
Mm.
yeah.
But yeah, like I say, I think money and YouTube is very interesting because a lot of people, I
Well, I
mean,
think here's the
make
thing.
a ton of money without anyone knowing, and I'm just kind of like, they do the same stuff and they make money from it. How is that even possible? And that's down to, I think, they invest time and they literally 100% fully commit to doing what they love. And I'm like, that's great. If I could do that, that's fantastic. But I know I've got bills to pay. I've got this, this, and this. So thinking on the bigger picture, it's like, right, if I go for this and I fail, I'm in a bit of doo-doo in a way, you know?
I think that, well, yeah, and the challenge is to kind of, because the assumption is from a lot of people will be like, oh, this sort of like a band selling out or something like that.
Yeah.
You're straying from your roots. Like, hey, this was all, you know,
Yeah.
good and well when you were just doing it for fun, but now you're trying to do it for money. That is, I think there are people out there that was their intention the entire time, and they
Mm,
do a bait and switch. There
mm,
was that a couple of really prominent YouTubers that they came out, they got really hot for 3 months, and then they hit us with hey, please give me money type of thing. I want to be in HD. I want a camera. You
mm.
know, and that's what I'm trying to. I guess what I'm trying to say is that is part of the danger is
It is.
trying to get lumped in with those guys.
Hmm. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I'm treading carefully with. In the video that I'm making, I'm not trying to say that I'm asking for money. This is just to help, give back to something that I've been giving
Right.
out a lot of. And,
You said it's a good cause.
hopefully with more of the stuff that I'm doing, I can get noticed a little bit more. Like, I had so much fun at SmogCon. I got to meet some of the best players in the world there in England and a few other countries, and I got to meet people who were like, "Oh yeah, I've seen your battle reports. They're freaking awesome." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, man. That warms your heart in a way." Like when we had that battle report that got lost, which is a bloody annoyance to me, with Owen, one of the first ever subscribers, and having him just like, man, I'm so excited we're filming this, and hearing that kind of melts your heart a little bit in a
Oh
weird
yeah,
way.
definitely.
Because you're kind of like, man, this kid over the other side of the world watches my battle reports, and now he's going to be a part of one, which is pretty freaking awesome. But I'll have to make some sort of video for Owen, and because he wanted to advertise his club, and I'll probably do something for him because I'm super annoyed that that footage got lost. I'm so annoyed, and he absolutely kicked my ass in that. It was fantastic. He I forgot how powerful the Winter Guard can be, and jeez Louise, he tore my behemoth a new one. It was
Well, I'm
unbelievable.
new to War Machine, but what someone had told me was if it has the word guard in it,
It's pretty good. Yeah, not gonna lie. Anything with guard is pretty awesome. I love it. I think getting onto a hilarious subject is like when people say stuff is broken in War Machine. That makes me chuckle because I'm like, sure, like the Winter Guard Death Star is pretty OP and all this stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, well, it depends what faction you play. Like, if you hear that from like a Legion player or a Crix player or anything like that, you're kind of like, well, you can't say that when you've got units that can go ghostly, walk through my units, and do this, this, and this, and do these amazing tricks. I wouldn't say that's OP. It's playing to your strengths, and so it's quite comical. Like Kador are known for like their heavy armor and their heavy hitting, and that's what their infantry does sometimes. And like Crix is known for their stealthy units, their trickiness, and all this other stuff. And
is it true that they have no light jacks, Kador?
no, we have one, but no one takes it because if you put focus on it, there's a slight chance it might explode. That's why it's broken. And also we have a scrapjack, but you have to take that with Old Witch, and
Ah,
that's pretty hilarious because it's like she plays like a Crix caster, and I want to get her because she plays very different to what we're used to with Kador, and that is the only arc node we have as well. And I think that's the one thing I always bitch and complain about, so I don't mind complaining it even more. I would love to have a Warjack for Kador that has an arc node ability because that'll be really useful for us. I think it'll give us a different dimension of how to play, because at the moment all we know how to play is, right, we're going to rock up with hard armor and hit you in the face hard, and then we're probably going to shoot you a little bit, and then we're going to punch you in the face once more, and that's all we seem to do. And like certain other, you know, factions have different ways of coming at you. You know, other factions can beat you in the face, but also playing attrition and stuff like this. And I think, you know, it depends how you build lists and stuff. And like, because I'm going to ETC, it's a lot of fun for me to build different lists. And I've built a fun list, which a lot of people have been like, man, this ain't gonna work. And sure, I lost my first game with it in the practice because I forgot to pop my feet. Well done, Lee. Pat on the back. But I had so much fun with units that people were like, they're not going to do that well. And then they're like, you're taking them? That's very interesting. But gosh, this list takes care of infantry, and if you get too close, I think I can smash you in the face a bit hard as well.
Hey, you know, I'm a big fan of anyone who could break the, you know, the meta. You know, always try to change the game up. You know.
Yeah, me too.
Uh,
That's why I think Rich is very unique. If you watch any of my battle reports, I want to make a hilarious video actually, because Rich plays Cricks and he doesn't play any sort of thralls or bane thralls or any kind of banes. He hates the word bane, except for obviously, you know, Batman Bane, like hello Batman, not him. He's like,
I was born in the dark.
yeah, I was born in the darkness. I think my favorite line in that movie when he goes like, I bought all this, and he goes, and you think this gives power over me? I was just like, holy crap, mate, you are so dead. And then he is, which is fantastic. But yeah, Rich is one of the only guys I know who plays the walkers. You know, the jacks that are on stilts that look like from World of War or whatever it's called. War of the Worlds, sorry. And he's the only guy I know who's actually started using the cavalry, because everyone's like, oh yeah, everyone else is using cav, but Richie's been using cav for a while, and the Cricks cav are pretty filthy. I'm not gonna lie, they have 3 attacks, they're light infantry, and they're pretty horrible. And I've played them a few times, and I've been like, right, if he takes them, I have to make sure I have a unit that can withstand 3 attacks and do this and that. And when you start playing more of like the local things, and the local things you see more and more, like you get used to bile thralls, you get used to this, you get used to that, and you kind of like, I have to compensate if I'm going to play competitively to see those lists. And that's when it gets really interesting. Man, work just want to just get a hold of you all the time.
Yes.
So, Heretic, have we got any more comments, or is it...
I think it's just Canvas, because there's a game convention going on right now, so everyone's at there. I'm the only one stuck.
Everyone's there except me.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Like, everyone's there except me. No way.
Gaming, I can't game.
Yeah.
No, I've you know, this is weird. This is my third guest I've ever had.
Oh, thanks.
And my second War Machine guy. So I've somehow transformed into a War Machine player, even though I know nothing about the game. I just play my circle, and I play the models. I like the look of them, and I want to paint them, and I have no idea if they work together or not. I've only won like a game of War Machine.
What faction do you play?
I play Circle.
Oh wow, Circle are good. I'm not even gonna lie. Circle are really good.
They have all these neat tricks, but the thing that like I've you know, I started with, you know, Pikaya, right? Because that's the starter box, and she has all these like neat sounding things, except like the last sentence always is the one thing I don't want it to do. So you're like, okay, Spirit Gate, I can teleport right on your caster. And then you read the last sentence and it's like, but I can't attack. So, you know what I mean? Like I struggle knowing what to do with all these movement tricks, because I want to, you know, go in, hit, and withdraw, but it just never works out that way. You know, people talk about the different spirit, what are they, shifting stones configurations. I'm like, I don't know. My shifting stones do, like it seems like the models move a lot faster. So why can't I just teleport them? I struggle
Yeah.
with
Oh man, I've played some circle lists where I've underestimated the stones. I think the stones are one of the best units in the whole entire of the game. Like they can that you can literally be like, oh, okay, I'm fine, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, and you're like, oh wow, there's a big thing teleported right in front of me. It's going to smash my face, and it just buggers off again. That's fantastic. Oh, that's scary. It's they. I love Circle. Circle were actually one of the factions I wanted to get because I love werewolves. Werewolves are pretty freaking awesome. Like I'm not gonna
it.
lie. And I wanted to get Circle, but then I realized a few guys in our meta here play Circle, so I was like, okay, Kador it is. And I've started a second army of Trollbloods, and playing Hordes is very different to playing War Machine. You have to make sure you have X amount of Fury on the board, so then you reave it back in, so then you can use it again, and then you have X amount on the... And it's a really different mechanic to then saying, right, I know I've got this much, and I can rely on this. You have to make sure that you manage your Fury right, and do this and that, and it sometimes is hilarious when a beast goes absolutely ape on something because you forget to do a threshold check or whatever. But yeah, it's awesome, and I think Circle are one of the. I think you've picked a really good faction because Circle has some really awesome-looking models as well. If you're coming into this without knowing what, what Circle does for an army, etc., there's some pretty badass models. Who does not like a werewolf with some sort of gag over his mouth, with a sword the size of a skyscraper? Who does not like that? Or like, a Minotaur with an axe the size of him. Come on, who does not like that if you're,
Or goats.
looking at miniatures? Hmm?
Goats. My thing was, I was like, oh man, I saw the satyrs, and I'm like, oh man, I
Yeah.
just want a bunch of goats.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I find
Yeah.
out the goats can jump over stuff. I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. I want to do that in the game.
Yep.
And that's pretty much my goal every time I play. I take my Shadowhorn Satyr and just have them jump over something. Even if it's my own model, I don't care. I tell them to jump.
There's the Blood Bowl player coming out of you. You just want to jump over
Exactly.
everything. Oh, that's fantastic.
So if there's some kind of super goat list out there,
There's a super goat list.
I want to learn how to, just just have, maybe a Shadowhorn, and what's the other one? There's like 3 satyrs, I want to
Yes,
say.
there are. There's 3. I'll just have a look for you. 1 second.
And I'm
This
like,
is why it's great.
yeah, I want to be,
You
I
want
want
to have a
to
goat
goat.
list.
Yes, I want a goat player. So who's the caster I need that works with the goats?
That's a good question.
And also like the new caster I got is oh god, I can't remember his name.
So you got the Rip Horn. Sorry to interrupt. You have the Rip Horn, and then you have the Shadow Horn,
Okay.
and then I believe the other one is a Getorix. I could be wrong. No, Getorix. Yeah, Getorix is the character one, the guy that I really wanted to get because his axe is the size of Uganda. It's massive. It is so big. That thing is just ridiculous. That thing. If you ever look at the model, geez. And then the other one is I think it's the Gale Horn or the Gale Horn or whatever. Yeah, there's your goats for you. Just those things. They have some horrible animuses as well. I know that for sure. But then having
Oh, that's
having
another thing. I still haven't gotten used to, using those animuses.
oh my
I
gosh,
was playing Steve Tin Man, and
mm.
in the game I'm like, I just declared my animus like out of the blue, and he's like, dude, that's not gonna help you. I was like, I just want to remember how to use it.
hmm
So I'm just gonna declare it, and he's like, what?
That's it. That's it, really. I think it's a learning curve. Like any other game, it's a learning curve, and oh my days, like I think Hordes is really superior. I think sometimes to War Machine due to the fact that you can spend as much fury on them as they say on their card, but then the slight problem is that they can go ape and
Oh
then
yeah.
hit their own things, which is kind of bad. But at the same time, it's like if you need to clear a zone or do something or do, make sure you hit something and wreck it off the board. Having it zooped up on animuses and spells and stuff, it's just kind of like, wow, this thing used to be a power like 15 and now it's a power. Oh my gosh, I'm scared. It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Um,
and
so good.
I've not been Circle is one of those factions that I cannot find a model that I don't like
Mm,
in that faction.
yeah, they have
Even
a lot
even
like. Oh my gosh.
what's his name, Gorax, that the model that everyone hates. I'm like, I love that guy.
That's the Gorax. Is he the one with the two fists up in the air?
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah, the Gorax's animus is
he's
pretty
like
sweet as
dragging a
well.
rock. He's like chained to a rock or something.
Yeah, like I like that. I really like that model. I think some people are a bit, they're just like, I wish it was different. But I think he looks awesome. His pose is funny. He literally looks like he's like, I don't care what anyone else says. I'm just gonna literally like just give you a punch in the face. So my first hit will hit you in the ground, and my second hit will literally take your head off. So he looks awesome. I love that model.
And I like the I don't even know his name. The warcaster that comes with his own tree. I'm like, hey, I get a tree
You
too.
get,
I have no idea what this tree does, but I want it.
is that? Oh, Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Is it Cassius, the Oathkeeper?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, he comes with his own. Yeah,
He
but that
comes
tree
with
looks
his
pretty
own.
awesome as well because it's just got skulls and other stuff on it. It's pretty hilarious. It's
Yeah, I
it's
just
just like yeah.
yeah. Like most of my game club has they tried War Machine, and it didn't take. We played a few games and everything, so it's really just me and a couple guys left. But yeah, the models are just so amazing. Like I don't want to. I've already invested in this game. I'm not going to quit playing. So
Yeah, that's it. I think that's sometimes really hard as well. I think that's when people have invested so much money. I think that's why I think so many people play a lot of 40k in fantasy. I think a ton because they've already committed. They've thrown so much money at the thing. They're just like, man, I've invested in this. I've got to ride it out. Sometimes I think that
yeah, but
sometimes.
unlike 40k, this is a good game.
Wow, let's throw GW under the
No,
bus.
I'm just saying, like we talked about the models and the
Yeah, that's true. That's
W,
true.
but really the mechanics is what gets me of G.
That's
I
true as
really
well.
am
They've
not.
tried to make some cool things, which I think is really cool. But then at the same time, if you just go, yeah, I'm going to Overwatch before you assault, you can lose half your units just because you said, oh yeah, I want to Overwatch. you know, it's kind of like a punch in the face, if you will. But yeah, I don't know. I think this game's well balanced, even though some people think it's like, a lot of us when we see models and previews and stuff like that, we're all like, oh my gosh, why can't my faction get this or that? And then we have the what if questions, which I love to throw out there to my mates at our local meta. And I think this game is well balanced. I know sometimes it leans towards certain factions sometimes, which it does sometimes, but then they counterbalance it with some other stuff. Like, I don't know. For me, I'm looking forward to seeing these new journeyman warcasters. I feel sorry for any of the guys who had asked for the Kickstarter poses because some of those poses with the Privateer Press released the ones they're going to reproduce en masse. Just saying, some of those ones they're producing en masse look way better than the ones you got in Kickstarter. Even though you have the bonus of having them now, it's yeah. You some of the poses look pretty badass. Just saying, my Kador one, I cannot wait to get Andrea. He is a douche and he looks like a douche. I cannot wait to play him. Just having the ability of going like, okay, yeah, you shot me. Oh, there's a model within 2 inches of me. I'm just gonna grab that guy, use him as a human shield. Oh, and he's dead and not me. Oh, that's fantastic. That's just such a great douchey thing. It's unbelievable. So good.
You could do that with any model.
Yeah, if it's a friendly model, yeah, he can. Are going to do it? I think. Let's have a quick gander. I think he does it. It's called Sucker, which is hilarious because he looks like a snob anyway, so you wouldn't really care. But here we go. Where are you? I had you on my front. Page Warcasters. No, he's not even. He's not been updated yet. But he has a hilarious. It's on my video. I explain it, and he is just a douche. He can do it to living model, so you can have him like how I would run him. How I would do him with a conquest, and then basically grab and you'll have your mechanics behind there or whatever to do it, and then if they're going to target you and shoot you and whatever, you can just grab one of those mechanics and be like, oh, sorry, mate, and you'll be like, what? And then you get shot in the face, and you're like, oh, thank you, and just throw it on the ground as a corpse. It's fantastic. It's so good, and like he adds a lot. He adds a fun new dimension to us, which is great. And then, you know, some people are just like, wow, you know, this War Machine, you know, we're overplayed by this, we're overplayed by this and that. And I'm just like, guys, it's a game. Grow up. Sometimes, even I say it sometimes. So I might say like, oh, you know, Crix is overpowered and all this other stuff. But you know, when you look at it compared to your army, you're always comparing your army to someone else's. And sure, we would love armies that all had stealth units and could go incorporeal. Sure, we would love stuff that could set stuff on fire with just farting and stuff like that, you know. But unfortunately, we don't. You know, it's just that's what happens. And you know,
well, we don't want to all play the same thing. So.
No, but then when you go to competitive tournaments and you see a lot of people playing roughly the same list, you're kind of like, that's why sometimes I hate competitive play sometimes.
From War Machine for a number of years was the hyper competitive scene. For it. It's a little intimidating for a newcomer like me.
It is. It is a bit intimidating. I'm not going to lie there.
But
you do have the nice guys who will sit down and talk to you, and then you have the other guys who are like, no, you've already said this. Sorry, you can't do that. And
no, my demo game was okay. Like. This guy's like, I'm going to show you how to play War Machine, and then he caster killed me in like 5 minutes. And he's like, bam, just learned how to play War Machine. I was like, thanks, guy. Thank you, Dick.
I played D for my first ever game. If you've ever known D from my channel, he's got drunk ridiculously. He loves to swear a ton, and he was my first ever opponent, and he was using minions, and I was using Crix, and I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, oh, I could do this, this, and this, and then Rich came over and was like, oh, this unit has this, this, and this, and that has that. Why haven't you been using that? I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to learn the basic mechanics. Right. Sure, I lost, but I learned the basic mechanics and was like, this is a very fun game. I like this a lot. And it was fun. And sometimes it depends how your first impressions are on it. I know Tin Man goes out there and does a ton of demos, and gosh, if he does demos, I would love to see how he does them, because yeah, he's awesome. I love that guy to death. He's pretty fun.
I got the opportunity to play with him, and you know, he gave me a lot of pointers. You know, while we were playing, and he actually did some things that, you know, like another guy would just tell me after. So like they would secure the victory and say, "Oh, by the way, you could have done this." Well, he told me during the game, and that was what's.
Neek did that at our SmogCon battle report. I forgot to do one thing, and then he absolutely obliterated me. But he was like, if you did that one thing, you probably could have won the game. And I was like, I was debating of doing that, but I wasn't 100% sure I could pull it off. And he was like, you probably could have pulled it off. And I was like, brr, you know. But it's all right. Yeah, I was like, okay, I can learn from my mistakes. And he's like, yeah, sometimes it's all about risk. And yeah, this is why I love this game. You know, sometimes you can play a game where you have a ton of fun, and sometimes you can play a game where you're just like, oh, that was depressing. Well, I remember my first ever game I played E. Haley, and everyone had said E. Haley's horrible, and I was at SmogCon, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we were doing Midnight Madness, and this guy rocks up with E. Haley too, and I was like, oh, cool. So what does she do? And then everyone's laughing because I have generally no idea what she does. Neek's there and he's laughing his head off. He's like, Lee, she does her feat's just awesome. And I was like, really? What did she do? She's like, oh yeah, during your turn, and she's popped her feet. He goes, oh, that activates first, that activates first, that activates first. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he just gets another turn, and everyone's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh wow, that was highly educational. 3 in the morning, and this guy just wants to play my game for me. That's fantastic. Just making it really funny. because it was absolutely brutal, and I had an opportunity to kill him in that game, and I didn't take it because I was risking. And he was like, "No, you could have killed me there," and I was like, "Oh, I need to take more risks." But it was fun.
Right.
I've had a lot of fun playing casually, but also competitively. Competitively, it really it's a whole new board game because people are actually, some people are nice, but some people aren't so forgiving. So that's what happens.
Yeah. For me, I'm still kind of just still learning. So just having fun. Like I figured out what slams do. I'm like, what, that you could slam and
Yeah,
throw stuff?
I'm pretty positive. I'm pretty positive your goats can headbutt as well. Headbutting
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yes.
Just having the ability of just like, oh, I just want to do a power attack and I hit you and you're knocked down. Okay, cool. So now your defense is poop compared to what it used to be. Now I'm just going to just buy attack, attack, attack on you,
Attack.
knowing that I'm probably going to hit. Like little things like that to me, I'm just like, why haven't I been doing this before?
Right.
Just little things like that is just like, wow.
Yeah, Tin Man showed me how
Um,
to use Lord of the Feast, and I'm
oh
like,
my gosh, that model's amazing.
I
Gosh.
was like, okay, so that's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, he's really awesome. Having the ability to just hit someone with his range, teleport in, and then be like, Thresher, everybody, and then bugger off again. Phenomenal. God, so good. If you play him right, he's just brilliant. Like, there's so many great, you know, characters that we all wish we could have, and other bits and bobs like that, and it's just, oh my gosh, there's so many models that you wish you could have. Like, everyone wishes they had a Mullet Khan in their army. That guy is just not a friendly guy, period, but everyone wishes we had one of him in our armies. Gosh, we were doing we're debating whether to do on my channel for hilarious kicks to do a draft and to see, right, like, you have 5 things to pick from. You can go, you have to have a Warcaster in there, but then you have 4 other things, so you can get jacks, units, whatever, and then obviously it'll be like the NFL draft. So like, if
Okay.
if they're off the board, they're done. You can't have them anymore. And there's some hilarious brokenness when you think of some of the models you could have and be like, oh cool, I'll take Sorcerer, a Death Jack, Mullet Khan, all these other things, and like everyone's like, whoa, 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 that's just broken. I'm like, this is why we're playing a draft. Who drafted the best army, do you think? It's just really fun, like little things like that.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Yep, we're debating of doing it as well. So
Hmm.
like, just throwing a battle report out there and be like, this is broken.
Some teasers going
But
up.
wouldn't it be fun to do this? How many people have thought, man, I wish I had the Death Jack in my faction? Well, now it's possible. I think we might do it as a hilarious advert like that. Have you ever wished that you could have this, this, and this? Well, now you can. Like a horrible, like, what they call
Like,
infomercials where
yeah,
they.
infomercials, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that'd be hilarious to do. That'd be really funny. Oh my gosh, that would make a lot of people laugh out loud.
There you go. You got enough content here. Hey,
See, it's dangerous. You
time.
just talk some ideas out, and you just kind of like, now I need to sit down and do it. Oh my goodness.
Steve
Yeah.
just jumped on and he said, "Sup, Lee?"
Ah, Steve, what a lovely man. He just threw out his hilarious teasers for what we're going to be on that battle report, which I'm so frustrated. But now I have it in the memory bank, so whenever I play Supreme Irusk, or even Karchev again, I have Steve's lovely, hilarious video. Oh my gosh, that made my day yesterday when he released them to me. He was just like, have fun. And then he shoved it on his Facebook just saying, oh, this is what I've been working on with Lee. And then I watched it and was like, this is freaking hilarious. I was laughing for like 5 minutes.
I'm sorry. Wait. I need some context for this one. I don't know.
Okay, so he reads out feats.
Right.
So he reads out Supreme Irusk's feat if he was Lando Calrissian from Star Wars,
Oh.
which is really funny. And then he does Karchev like he was literally like, I think it was supposed to be like Doc from Back to the Future, and I was laughing my head off. It was so funny. Because I was like, I want you to have fun as much as I'm having fun. So I don't want you to just be like, I think this feat does this, 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 and got the most boring voice in the world. Ha ha ha. I want you to have fun. So do whatever you want. Just have fun, and I'll put it in. You know, because we wanted, like he said, he wanted to have some channel integration, and I'm trying to involve everyone. And you know, Steve's on my battle reports. Marth and Neek are on my Kador Tactics videos now because those guys play competitively a lot more. So hopefully they'll pull out a lot of fun for people and pointing out like bits and bobs that I've missed that can help me, but also help everyone out if they watch those videos.
I just came up with an idea right now. I think
Go
we should
for it.
have. I
Let's
think I
do
should
it.
film an entire battle report, a War Machine battle report. Send the file to Steve and have him commentate on all the stuff I got wrong and missed. And
Yes, we were jokingly going to do that. Marth and Neat, because these guys are like the rule
yeah,
gods, if you will. Like, just hilariously be like, okay, and here we're going to move 5 inches when he should have moved 4. Well done there. Fantastic. There's one error, and just have an error battle report as a
right.
joke. Or just play the game when it's completely broken, and then just have like someone be like, and he's got that rule wrong. Oh no, he's done that wrong. I don't think he can cast that, but he's going to do it anyway. Goodness gracious, who's watching the rules here? Just like it'd be really fun to do, and just
Right.
see the reaction to that. I think you should do it. I think you should do it.
Well, Steve, well, we can't stop here. This is Crick's country. Okay.
I'm gonna load. I'm
Yeah,
gonna load up
and if
this link.
Steve's up for it, I'll definitely do it because me and my friend Mark, we play War Machine, and we have no idea what we're doing. So it'd be funny to watch a guy, someone like you or Steve say, okay, so he popped his feet and then didn't do anything.
Yeah, he popped his feet, and I believe his feet does nothing because he didn't use it properly, or he didn't use it at all. He just popped it just for the fun of it. It would be really fun to do. Like, just have a hilarious like golf commentary. Would really be good. And I believe he's going to walk up the board gently. Yes, there it is.
He is,
And
and
oh
he
my gosh,
left no focus on his caster and is apparently wanting to commit suicide at this moment.
I'm pretty positive this guy has managed his fury wrong and is slowly regretting it. But we'll find out.
Oh god, that
Basically,
happens to me all the time. I'll be so into like destroying stuff, and then I'll look at all the fury on the board, and I'm like, oh,
yeah, that's the
whoa.
one thing I've realized with a couple of games I've played with my trolls. I'm kind of like, next turn's going to be really, really lucky if I pull it off. But it is fun, like rocking up and being like, hey, I'm going to kill your colossal this turn just because I want to try, and then doing it and going, ha, he's going to go crazy next turn, but I don't care. I just wrecked something that was pretty much all your points. Oh, it's great. Yeah, because everyone actually, that was one thing. Everyone loves Scorn because Scorn are really good and they have possibly the best beasts, I think. What's the name of the one? As soon as I see the name,
Scorn
here we
is
go.
another one I would consider collecting just because of the elephants.
Yes. I believe it is. Oh my gosh, what is it? It's not a bronze back. If I had a bronze back, oh my gosh, in Kador, that'd be phenomenal. This thing hits like a Mack truck. This thing, I watched one game where a guy pumped him up with the correct like focus and whatever, well, not focus, with the correct animuses and the spells and stuff, and I saw him like literally take out half a column of a storm wall. He just went up and just rolled ridiculously high, and he hit really hard, and I was like, wow, that was. Well, I want him in my army if I could. That'd be fantastic. Like, yeah, they literally have some of the nicest looking models as well. They remind me a lot of 300. You
So
know,
if you're going to
some of their
do,
models.
so hang on. So if you're going to do a draft, right?
Yep.
Is it okay? So are you going to pick like let's say the top 10 jacks,
Wow. Okay.
right? And then you have a
Yes.
lottery.
Uh-huh.
And that person, whoever gets the number one pick can pick one of the 10 jacks and just automatically be in the list, whether it's in their faction or not.
Okay,
Is it going to be something like that, or
maybe. Well, the thing was, we're going to do it as a draft pick, so you could pick anything from any faction.
right, right. So let's say you okay. So it doesn't. I was using jacks as just an example.
Okay, sure. Okay.
But top 10 models then,
Hmm. There's a ton.
including
Well,
Warcat.
everyone has different playstyles because I believe if you pick a warcaster or have a warcaster in mind, or have two in mind, and you have 5 picks, and one of them goes off the board, you're kind of like, okay, I need to make sure I get that other warcaster. But there's some stuff that I would take so much first before anything else. It would be so good. Oh my gosh.
I like this idea.
I have my first pick, but guaranteed he'll fly off the board if I didn't have him. But then other people will probably pick him first. Like, if anyone could have the Death Jack, I'm guaranteed having an advanced deployed model that hits like a Mack truck and has so many shenanigans. It's so great. Or even actually, I'm just thinking now having Moloch Khan with Butcher 3 would be hilarious. It would be a lot of fun. More movement shenanigans, boosting, using Energizer. If we were going to play with the broken rules of anything in your battle group, which isn't a Jack, but basically he would be, I think, because he's going to be included, gains 3 extra inches, and he has movement shenanigans anyway, would be pretty awesome, I think. Just saying. Is all. Pretty good.
Got it.
He is good though. He's the one reason I almost got Scorn as well, because I was like, this guy looks awesome, and everyone's like, and he is horrible, and I was like, why is he horrible? He's like, yeah, he does this, and I was like, oh, so he's kind of like an extreme version of like a ninja. That's awesome. He's like if Leonardo ever ditched like the Turtles and just took a ton of steroids. It was great.
Does he look like a giant turtle?
No, I would convert him so he looked like a giant turtle. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think we.
I'd be like, is that Moloch Khan? Oh yeah, it is. He just looks like
gotta get
Leonardo from the
Nick on
Turtles.
that. Hey Nick, make a giant turtle.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, can you make objective markers for me? I actually asked him if he could do some objective markers for me, like some really ridiculous ones. I wanted to have like a toilet and just some really random ones, because everyone has these really nice ones where it's like, oh, it has an ammunitions cast, it has a flag on it, and I was just like, let's go in the opposite direction. Let's just have like a cuddly toy. Let's have a toilet, or a man throwing up in a toilet, or something like that as an objective marker. Just something that would show hilarious, stuff. Like a fat guy just like sitting down next to a barrel of like ice cream or beer, just having too much fun. See, there's Steve. I just realised Steve's wrote a comment.
Yeah.
He says he'll take a Hydra and P Nemo, and I'm thinking of that combo right away. It's pretty awesome. So that's what I'm saying. Like, people have different things. I never thought of having a Hydra with P Nemo. So if you're watching this now and like you're not watching it live, leave your comments below about like who might you take if you had. You could pick 1 Jack and 1 Warcaster if you could draft anything, because that'd be crazy.
1 Jack, 1 more caster.
What would you go with? Here we go.
By the looks of it, well, does it have to be a Jack? Can I pick a War Beast?
You could pick Warbeast, sure.
I think it'd be hilarious. You go guy with tree and the elephant.
Ooh.
Like what's Scorn's main?
Bronzeback.
Yeah.
That would be. Actually, I'm gonna have a look quickly at the guy with the tree spells, because if he's really really good.
I think doesn't his feet like everything becomes a forest?
Yeah, that's the one where he's like, oh, you're exploding, tree. It's so good.
Every game of War Machine is like a new. Like I find out about the feat too late. I was playing a. Oh God, who's the? It's not Signar. Who are the blue guys? I'm sorry, like really bad at this.
Signar. That's Tin Man's faction. So
Okay.
he'll probably chime in with a comment.
So there's a guy that spits out little half jacks, right? What's his name?
Oh, yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah, I know who you mean.
And his feat is like, I heal all my jacks.
I think it's Darius. Yeah, Darius.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it just
was
spits
fun.
out, and those things become mines. That's pretty freaking awesome. Just saying.
Well, I'm putting a ton of work on all of his jacks. I'm like, okay, this one's down to three. That one's on his last moving, and then his turn. He goes, and I feet, and then everything's fixed, and I'm like, God dang it,
Yeah, it's brutal.
I need
That's
to
why that's
read.
why you have to time it right with that guy, because you were like, if I need to kill everything, I have to make sure I kill it, because he has the thing of, oh, you're repaired, done. You look at
Yeah,
that. He's like the perfect insurance caster. He is. He's just
yeah.
like everything gets fixed. He's awesome though. I like the whole fact that
Before I
his little
fight
heart
someone, I should
minds.
do some research on their thing. But I always like just finding out in the middle of the battle that I'm playing right into the guy's hands.
Well,
I
that's
think it's
that's how
hilarious.
it is.
Yeah.
It's a brutal game. But then the best thing about, I think, with most games anyway, is you learn from your mistakes. And I've learned more from my mistakes than actually winning, because I've done certain things where I'm just like, okay, if I play this, he'll probably see it coming a mile off. But then sometimes he doesn't. I'm like, cool, let's try it. And then he's like, oh, shish kebabs, I've completely forgot about that. And I would get a win and be like, that was a bit lucky. And he was like, yeah, I completely forgot about that. And then I would, like, this is when it gets really cool, when it does competitive gaming and stuff. If the person sticks around and is willing to talk to you about how you could have done stuff differently, that is awesome, because that helps out. Like, yeah, like I said, you and me, we're not really good at competitive gaming, for example. I could say that, Heretic, can't I? Like,
Oh
we're,
yeah.
we're kind of new, we're kind of, if you're new to it and you have a guy who's played competitively for a while, like, for example, if Steve sat down after the game and talked to you about, like, well, you could have done this, and
Oh, he did.
this
He
person does
definitely.
this, and
Yeah.
yeah, like, that is the best kind of person ever, because that person is taking time out of, like, I've just completely destroyed you, but helps you out in the long run. Even if you do terrible at that tournament, that person has helped you become a better player.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. I love
Yeah.
that
One
when
of the
people
things
come
he
and sit
talked to
there.
me about was, not flanking with my blood trackers, and
Mm.
he's like, dude, I had like one solo, and you sent 11 girls after her. And I was like, yeah, but it was a ninja, and it was scary, and I wanted.
It's a ninja. Yeah. Sometimes it's figuring out, like, what's like like targeting the right thing. Like, every time I take a behemoth, I know that thing's going to be a target for a lot of people, because if he hits you, you're down to half armor, and then I'm going to smash you in the face. So that's quite scary for a lot of people. I have units where people are like, I know their trick, so I need to make sure they don't do their thing. It's just allocating and doing the right thing. So, like,
Yeah, what you're talking about is really coming down to a lot of playtime and
it
experience.
is. But that's it. It's experience. I think I've lost more games on my channel than I have winning them. And if I've won them, it's probably because I broke the rules at some point. So, that's okay. We make mistakes, so no one else has to. So I just get
Yeah,
ripped
me
apart in
too.
comments.
Yeah, that's a cool thing though. I know a lot of guys will kind of only post their wins on their.
Mate, oh my days. I'm really annoyed that Owen battle report got lost. He took me to town, and I was kind of like, I'm trying some stuff out with this list, but some of the things I was really scared about. I was like, oh my gosh, this has gone so horribly wrong. What is going on? But then some of the stuff he took, I was like, I might try that out in my Kador faction, because he was playing Supreme Irusk and I was playing Karchev, and I was like, cool, I'm going to try this, and then I forgot to take mechanics, which is possibly the stupidest thing you could ever do. It's like having toast but not putting butter on it, supposedly. And I was like, okay, I forgot to take them, but I'm trying this out. How can we do it? And, like, some of the stuff that he was running, I never seen or heard of before, and then I saw it in action. Was like, man, this is interesting. I might have to try this out, or maybe pick this model up. It's good though. It makes you think about what other people do, and then when you see it competitively and you see people taking the same models over and over again, you're kind of like, they might be taking them because they're probably good, so maybe I'll have to jump on that bandwagon. So
Oh, I got one last question for you. It's about noon or 12 midnight here.
okay.
Has this ever happened to you? 'Cause this happens to me all the time. I'll have to, because the way I do battle reports is I'll film the entire thing, speed up the footage, and narrate over it. Have you ever saw something that you did and said, that was just a really bad, mistake? Like actually learn from your own, watching your own moves, like replayed on
Yeah.
while you're editing.
Yeah. Any of my battle reports, whether it be the best one would be um my Star Wars one when I was shooting the crap out of the Millennium Falcon or the YT-1300 piloted by Chewbacca, and I had that thing low on health, and then I decided to not shoot it anymore, and I decided to shoot something else. Or even with War Machine where I should have charged this instead of that. You learn from your mistakes, especially when you come back to editing it, when you're just kind of like, okay, I know what happened this turn, but how can I reverse that? How can I switch it up here? And then you look at it and you're kind of like, that's where I went wrong.
It's
Okay.
sort of like a side benefit, I think, right?
Yeah, it is. It is a huge side benefit because then you remember what that. And the best thing about it is as well, if you play new factions and whatever, you kind of learn what certain things and tricks people do. So you're kind of like, I'll remember that for next time for sure, which is always nice.
And do you try to well, like every time I hit the game store, I'll bring my camera because I never know what I'm going to be doing.
Mm.
Um, you sound like you put a little bit more planning
I
into.
kind of yeah. With me, it's kind of how could I put it? I'm very anal, if you will, when it comes to planning stuff. Like, I'd like to have this, 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 and this already sorted, but not know what they're playing. Because
Oh,
then, if you know what they're playing, you're kind of like, oh man, I know what they're going to play, so I'm going to take a counter, which will probably, really screw them over. Like, prime example would be Neek helped me build a competitive list for SmogCon, and then I kind of wanted sleep instead of staying for a Midnight Madness event because I was like 20th on the list. And as soon as I left and went to bed and I came back the next day, Neek was laughing because he was like, Lee, your name was called out literally 2 minutes as soon as you left. And I was like, did everyone drop out? And they're like, yeah, it's a Midnight Madness. Not a lot of people stay up for it. And I was like, oh. But I took that list against Neek. I just halved down some of the things and he hated it. He was like, "Man, this list is brutal." And yeah, in that matchup, that's a prime example of like watching and learning from your battle report. I did a few hilarious things, but on my channel, I'm known for like killing my own models more than killing others. There was
which I
one
didn't even
where
know you could do in Warrior Machine until my last battle report. It's like
yeah,
I shot something in combat and then killed my own model. Those.
yeah, it's sometimes it can benefit you. Like I've heard, I don't know, Steve might actually help me out here in the comment section maybe. Um, I think one of the fun tricks is Electro Leap. You can target your own faction model, for example, if it benefits you, kill it, but then it will bounce off to a closest model or something, and that could be a really annoying solo, for example, or something that you want to disrupt or whatever. I don't know how the rules work, and kill it. And sometimes killing your model in a unit of 10 for taking out a pesky 3-point solo is pretty legit, I believe. So
Yeah.
it's just learning those little things, Like Kador, we
Right.
don't really have those things. We just spray and pray and shoot and smash. That's pretty much what we're known for.
Let's see.
It's,
Steam Power. I did a battle report with Seattle James, where James popped his feet, but we both forgot. Yeah.
it also happens. That happens a ton. That happens a lot. So it is really funny because to be quite frank, I remember there was a game where Rich popped his feet. I think it was against Signar. I think it was against Phil, and he popped his feet, and he didn't really use it effectively, and he got like ripped up in the comments. And some guy, I remember this vividly because this was absolutely amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I think the individual is still subscribed to my battle reports. He literally ripped Rich a new one. Like he literally was like, "You're a jerk. You did this wrong. You did this." And I kind of stuck up for Rich and was like, "This is a new faction, but and he's learned from his mistakes. But there's no need to call him all this. If you were going to do it differently, that's awesome. But there's no need to call him out on it." And the guy immediately apologized and was like, "I'm sorry. Yeah, I think some lot of people jump on that bandwagon when they see someone do something wrong. They're kind of like, I would have done this instead." And we're all guilty of it. We're all
Oh yeah,
even when we watch other games, or even if we play video games and stuff, when we watch run-throughs and stuff, it's like, you know, why did you do that? You could have done this. You know, that's our human instinct to always think the opposite. You know.
and it's a lot. It's a lot to ask for when you're thinking of camera angles and catching everything, and you know, it's easy to miss tactical, error like that.
Yeah. Steve was right. Yeah, he says here, yep, target electricity immune model with an electroleap attack to take out a high defense or a low armored models. So you could hit your own guy, and if it's close to a pesky solo more than your own, because it will jump to the closest model, I believe. It's really fun. That's why I have a little mini signal list with trenches galore. I just want to have some hilariousness and some cheeky bounciness. Even though trenches don't really have electricity, I don't know why I use trenches in that explanation. But I wanted to. I just want to have some hilarious
You're
fun.
testing the viewers. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I am. You know, gosh, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Not, but it's all good.
All right, so you got about a minute left, so I just wanted to. Well, first of all,
Okay.
thanks for coming on. Appreciate you waking up at what is it, 2 o'clock in the morning there?
Well, no, actually, it's currently 8 o'clock in the morning here,
Oh,
but
nice.
I've got to get up anyway.
Yeah.
So.
All right, and
A lot of fun.
final thoughts, any advice, any last minute tips for anyone?
Hmm.
Uh,
Last thoughts. You know what? My thing is do it for fun. You know, battle reports. If you're going to commit to making battle reports, go out having no fear that you'll get destroyed by the internet. Welcome to the internet. Like I said earlier, people love to bitch about everything and watch pornography. That's pretty much exactly what the internet is used for. Get ready to get slammed by people, but then get ready for people to come alongside you and help you out. You know, I've had so many people on my battle reports leave comments to say like, dude, you've done a fantastic job, but if you did this, I think it could be better. And so I took that under consideration and tried it, and it did. You'll actually meet genuinely nice people on the internet. Not everyone's evil. I've had the pleasure and honor to really be a part of Dice Rage Live, with Marth, Neek, Blog, Steve, a lot of great guys who have been doing battle reports for a while, even though some might stop doing content or whatever. But being around guys who love the game and are passionate about the game and are willing to honestly give people advice and be like, dude, you should do it, dude, you shouldn't do it, that really helps. And, surrounding yourself with guys who are passionate about the game, and, if you have a vision and you want to do it, just do it. What's stopping you? Obviously, not having money for cameras and internet and all that other stuff could be a problem. But
right.
if you're passionate about it, just do it and find a unique way that gives someone an experience in a way. So transmit your personality through something that you love. Period.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being on, man. I appreciate it.
No worries.
Thanks for the 2 viewers. Woohoo!
Yeah. There's 4 watching now, from what I've been told. This is cool.
We're on the same timeline, man. What the hell are you doing up watching YouTube at this time?
Well, I guess. And add pop-ups and cuts of Lee when he's in the middle of talking. Huh. I should. We'll do ads for everybody else. So if you want to check out Steve's channel, he's no longer on YouTube, but you can track him at Bing. Yeah.
No, let's put everyone's link down there.
Yeah, you should. Because these guys that kind of go under the radar.
If you guys are looking for good battle reports, I think everyone we talked about tonight, we should have a link for.
Yeah, advanced maneuvers are good. Steve does a fantastic job. Marth, You know, even if you want to go a bit old school, even, you know, listen while you play, even though I'm really, really gutted that those guys at the moment aren't doing any more battle reports, go back and watch some of their stuff. It's
Yeah,
hilarious. It's so different, but hilarious. I kid you not. Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
yeah. And anybody else you want to mention?
You know, advanced maneuvers. While we're at it, you know, those guys have been dropping comments like left, right, and center on some of my stuff. So I've been watching a few of their battle reports because I was curious. Whenever someone leaves a comment, I'm always like, "Who are you?" And then you kind of find out, oh, they subscribe to me. What do they do? And then some people don't make videos, but then some people do. So you check out their stuff. They're really good. You know, obviously the usual suspects. You know, Mini Wargaming do good stuff, but most of the stuff you have to pay for now. So that's kind
Yeah,
of
that's a
frustrating.
whole nother subject.
Yeah, that's another subject. Not going to throw them under the bus. Those guys do some fantastic battle reports still.
I'll throw
But
them under the bus on another video that I was playing.
I,
Um,
I enjoy them. They're the one reason I got into
One guy
doing
I
stuff.
want to mention, I don't know if it's not War Machine, but I'm not a really, I'm not a War Machine channel. But check out Tristan. He did an amazing battle report for a game called Ronin, where the models, when they attacked, he has an animation of them doing sword maneuvers, and it's
Oh,
pretty awesome. And there's blood splatter and everything.
oh, cool.
It's very thematic.
Yeah, Ronin's pretty. I hear is a skirmish samurai game, right?
Yeah,
Japanese kind of game.
right.
That's cool. That's awesome.
From North Star Games. Yes,
North Star Games.
yeah. So check out his stuff. Dystopian Wars. I want to say you want Southern Signar. He does awesome battle reports for Dystopian Wars. There's this guy that does Blood Bowl battle reports named Character Guru.
I love that. It kind of turned into a question halfway through where your voice went really high. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
really? I'm not so sure. Yeah.
Well, what? Anyways, I'm overdue here. Gotta get some sleep.
Oh, my days.
Thanks for coming on again.
No,
Really,
man. I guarantee you. I bet if you wanted to come on a Dice Rage Live with us as a guest sometime, guaranteed Steve will probably want you to be a part of it as well. Definitely.
oh, and Cam jumped on, so thank you, Cam. Again.
There's a guy who just jumped on. He says, "I'm watching from work." Oh, I'm so sorry. We're about to end. But you can go back and watch the whole thing because this has been more than 2 hours of great talking and laughing and hilarious comments.
Yeah, and I've never met you before, so.
I know. I've watched your stuff, like all your Blood Bowl stuff, and then I realized you subscribe to my channel, and then you know everyone who I know. Kind of, I'm just like, wow, you know,
Yeah.
Steve, what's going on here? This is kind of crazy. Yeah.
We're the good thing
It's a
about
small
these
world.
YouTube communities, we all gotta like get in touch, and this way, like, as much as I
Well,
hate Google
I,
Plus,
as much as I hate Google Plus,
it gives
well,
us kind of a tool where we can, we can't always collaborate like you and Steve, but we can at least talk to each other and
that's true.
take
Oh, the
time.
best thing as well is I'm planning to move to America for 2 years as well. So you never know. We might be able to hook up. Hey, I might even bring my Blood Bowl with me to Nashville. So I
Oh,
might
of
have to just
course.
take a trip, and we might have to have a game or something. That'll be a lot of
Those guys
fun.
are tough. Those guys are tough. But
Those guys are tough, and I'll have to remember the rules. But it'll be fun.
with the Norse, you hit everything you see. That's what
Yes, you do. That's why I took them because someone told me they hit like everything, and I was like, oh, that's good. I'm happy with that. If I don't have to worry about anything else, I'll take that. That's good.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for me. So I will see you on the next one. I don't know when I'm going to do it or who's going to be on, but catch you guys on the next one, man. All
Yeah,
right.
take care.
All right. Thanks.